You, after a game like this, how do you, I don't want to say get them back, but it's a big win, huge win. Now it's a game you're supposed to win. What do you do as a
I told them that they had till today at 2 o'clock to get it out of their system. So I know how it is. Everybody, they're going to come, because I know when I got 106 text messages, I know what they got. So just, they had all day yesterday. I told them all night, make sure they get it out of their system. We come back today by 2 o'clock. We got to worry about getting better. It's over. We got to worry about getting better. So they needed to expect me to be back to who I am on a daily basis, which is trying to get these guys ready to have a great year. So
how do you need to get better?
Everybody needs to get, everybody needs to get better. We only scored 50 points in regulation. I would say, in my assessment, is our offense struggled because guys are tired. They don't want to admit it. When you play guys that many minutes, it affects their shooting, it affects their footwork, it affects their ability to beat their man. I would say our best athlete by far is Kevin. It affected him the least of all the guys. So he was able to still beat his man. And he's genetically just a better athlete than the rest of the guys that start. We got to get back to Justin and Jaron and Nasir and those guys. They all got to play more for us to get to where we're going. I just didn't do it because I could see a few of them were nervous. And they were so explosive, Iowa State, that I thought if they put a 12-0 run on us, it was going to be hard to come back from. So I was just going with the veteran guys that were doing a great job on the defensive end. But I knew it affected us offensively, and we can't get to where we're going playing that way. It's just those guys got to play off the bench. They got to play more.
Mentally, how big is it to get that monkey off your back? Last year you lost.
For me, it's not at all.
For them.
For them. At some point you got to win. You guys, so the guys can be in that locker room celebrating. You keep asking guys to stay positive, dig in, stay positive, dig in, But thought it was huge, when I watched, the thing you learn, so we've talked about how rebounding killed us last year in late game situations. And on the last shot where we forced the air ball, Troy and Gary both are focused on blocking out and diving on the ball with their life on the line. Because they lost, you could tell that they had enough. So there's a lot of growth. And I showed Trey Scott on the same possession. He wasn't quite as intense as them with his block out and his attempt after the loose ball. But he's a freshman. Those guys, they know what's happened to him in those situations.
Troy's been struggling with his shooting, but he's done a lot of other things.
Yeah, Troy does so much. When you play point guard, you can help your team win in so many ways that don't even show up in the stat sheet. Leadership, positioning other guys. Even if you get in a lane and miss a shot, it creates help defense, which allows your team to get an offensive rebound. So I think his effectiveness and his impact on our team is far beyond the stat sheet.
But he has some good stats too. He's rebounding.
Well, his rebounding.
The ball.
Yeah, it's just his field goal percentage. Especially I know he's frustrated with his three-point shooting. But I think everybody goes through those stretches. I've coached a lot of guys. Guys go through those stretches, and you got to help them fight through it. Watch film, try to look at their footwork, look at his balance, which we've been doing, and trying to let him watch film, have him watch some film of when he's been successful to get his confidence up, and to let him look at his footwork and his follow through and things like that nature when he did make shots. But he's a tough guy. He'll fight through it. I do think it's really, really hard when you, especially the other night, when you play as many minutes as he did, it has an effect on your legs and your shooting. I was really happy that Iowa State called a timeout when Jacob got fouled, because he needed an IV after the game. He was cramping up so much. I was going to call a timeout. I was looking at him thinking, do I need a timeout so he can just catch his breath and get a Gatorade before he shoots these free throws? We were pretty gassed. Those two especially.
You've talked in the past about in recent years there aren't a lot of as many quality big men as there used to be. You have one. How unusual is it in the game today to have one as skilled as Kyle Washington, offensively skilled?
Yeah, we talk about this a lot. You know, the college game and the pro game is so different. You know, very few college guys can score one-on-one over their man. With both, and he can do it with both hands. He's a highly effective scorer. When he's given space, and he doesn't settle for a hard jump shot. You know, when he attacks his guy, and he can make open shots as well. There's just not a lot of guys in college basketball that can score against college defense. They could in high school because they were bigger. They were more athletic. They were bigger. But when you get to this level, and you got guys guarding you that are the young kids, got guys defending them that are older, and you've got to be able to make better moves, and you got to be able to score over people. There's not a lot of guys running around college basketball that can do it. That's why it's so much more of a defensive game than the pro game. But because there's just more kids in our game that are better defenders than they are offensive players. But yeah, Kyle's, he's a rare guy because he can make hard shots. He can make guarded shots.
He said you recruited him out of high school.
Yeah.
How hard did you recruit him?
We tried. He committed that. When he went down to NC State, he committed. I think he would tell you. I think his cousin went there. I don't know if she was in med school or she was in grad school. He was very, very close with her. He fell in love with their campus and just committed out of nowhere. So a lot of us that were recruiting him, all of a sudden it just ended abruptly. But I loved his way we recruit. He was an aggressive, hard-playing guy. We fell in love with him the first time we saw him. So
he just said he recruited to North Carolina State, or he committed to North Carolina State because he was young and didn't know anything.
He will tell you she went there, and he was very, very close with her.
His cousin?
Yeah, I think that. I'm pretty sure. I think he might even lived with her as well. He's a rare guy in college basketball that can make hard shots and score over size and athleticism. He's still adjusting to playing major minutes. He was extremely fatigued the other night. You could see it.
He was out in the last few minutes.
He was tired.
Just tired.
He was trying to push through it. He's the latest victim of the chest cold sinus infection. So it was definitely affecting him. He went on medication a day or two before the game. He's trying to fight through it, but I know it was definitely affecting his breathing. But again, that's his first. One of his first big games back where he's playing all those minutes. That's why I say, I think we're a team that should hopefully be able to continue to get better. The more he gets comfortable, the more his teammates get comfortable around, with our new style of play, especially on offense. And then as our bench guys get more minutes, Justin and Jaron and those guys play more.
You just talk just a couple things about Bowling Green. What do they do?
Well, they play an extremely tough schedule to start off. They had a big win over Murray State that I think got them going. They rebound. A very physical team. They out-rebound their opponents. I think they're averaging almost 42 rebounds a game. They attack. They're making over 15 free throws a game, I think. I tell you, they're shooting 25 or so a game. So they're an aggressive team. They're physical. They're the typical, the people that know the MAC conference. They got some big, strong guys. I think Mike's in his second year. They've had all week to prepare for us. They played on Tuesday. And they've played a couple tough road games at South Dakota and at Oakland, some very close losses. But, I don't expect them to come in and be intimidated at all. since they saw us last year and they played us really hard for a half. I think they're a much older team now, so we got to make sure we're ready.